Alright everyone, and welcome back to the next episode of Project Ozone 3 here on this channel, and let's get right into it. Alright, so the first thing we're going to take a look at today is actually finishing our seeds we made in the last episode, which we can use to create resources. And what we're going to do for that is we're just going to place down a few more saplings, since those we need to make the so-called silk mesh, for which we need string. So we're just gonna take a silkworm and infect the tree again, and with the leaves we get with the infected leaves we get from that, we should be able to get a whole bunch of string we're gonna use to make the silk mesh. Okay, I also just realized that we got a juice in our inventory, which I think we can use to make like juice, like pea juice and probably apple juice and peach juice and all of that kind of stuff, which is kind of cool. We didn't really realize that the last time, but it's a good food source, so we're gonna use that. And yeah, let's just wait for this to be done, and let's just make a few more sticks to make some more crooks, which we can use to actually harvest the leaves. There we go. And I think we should already be getting enough leaves and enough string, but I'm not sure, so let's just check in a second. We're also going to take the wood, and I would definitely love to expand the island a bit more, but that's definitely going to be a different topic to think about. And what we can do is we are just going to make some more of those mesh. There we go. We can also upgrade them over time so that they're being more efficient and giving us more resources by combining them with other materials, like I think flint, iron and diamond should be the ones we can upgrade them to. Pretty sure. And yeah, okay, here we go. We got an 8x8 sieve completely done. Let me make a chest, and let's hope that we can just do a normal chest. I was kind of afraid that they changed the chest recipe. Would have been kind of afraid of that, because I've seen a lot of things in like similar mod packs. Okay, let me do this. Also, we get a bunch of charcoal from our furnace, which we where we put some logs, some wood in there the last time. And at least part of the charcoal we're just gonna use to make some torches to brighten up our island, to avoid mobs from spawning when we make it bigger. And for that we can actually press the F7 key, which kind of shows us the light overlay, which kind of indicates, hey, there it's not bright enough, and if I go too far away then mobs will spawn there. So we're just gonna place down a few torches, and then we can make sure that no mobs are gonna spawn at all. Okay, we get this chest over here, which we're gonna use for like all of the outputs from the sieve, and we get this chest where we're just gonna put everything we don't need right now into. I'm also just realizing that we got a diamond at the beginning. I kind of forgot about that one, and I think it's meant to be used to make like a diamond one for building. So we're just gonna do that. Also, can we combine like those two? Because yeah, we can. Okay, we don't really need it right now though. Let me also put away the random act of kindness, and now we can take a look into all of the other quests we have. So one is to make a flint stiffened mesh that we're gonna do in a bit. And another one we can do is the right-clicking one, which honestly we already did, but it's not really recognizing that we made all of the cobblestone we need for that. So we're just gonna collect a few more of those stone pebbles, and in a bit we're just gonna have enough. I think we need like 4 stacks of stone pebbles to make 1 stack cobblestone, which is what the quest requires us to have. So we're just gonna do that. And in a small amount of time we should be, come on, we should be having enough. I mean, we definitely need a bit more. So let's just do that. I'm also not really sure what material we want to build our island out of. I would love to kind of use something a bit more clean looking than wood or just plain cobblestone slabs. So we might actually just use the like smooth stone slabs, which we can easily make by smelting cobblestone in furnace. Though for that we probably need a few more furnaces, since otherwise it's going to take a really long time to make enough of that. Alright, that should be enough cobblestone. We're just going to put it here. And now we're getting the cobblestone, and we can claim the 5 random act of kindness. What a kind thing of them to do. The next thing we can take a look at is to make, I think we're just gonna go with, let me think. So there are carrots, which I'm pretty sure we cannot do yet. They give us like special effects, as it seems, if we eat them, but I'm pretty sure if we like check for the carrots, yeah, they cannot even be crafted. How do you do those? Carrot seed. You should try planting this on different ores and ore blocks. So we will definitely have to figure out how those work. Carrots that require except 2 ores under to grow. But how do you do like the basic carrot? Like it doesn't show a crafting recipe for those, and it doesn't show a recipe to get the carrot seeds either. So I think we're just gonna get them somehow with the other quests or something. I would just go there and continue with some other quest first then. So what do we need to do to... Yeah, okay, let's do like the easy quests first. So let's ignore the hunting dimension for now, and let's just go with the flint mesh quest, I think. So we're just gonna need flint for that, and flint we can obviously get by making some gravel. And as I already teased in the last episode, we can convert cobblestone into gravel by just going there and placing down the cobblestone, holding down the key that allows us to break multiple blocks at once, and then we can go there and get gravel by breaking it with a hammer. And what we can do now is we can just use our giant sieve, and yeah, as you can see, we are basically just using the whole sieve to sieve that through, and we get a raw rock candy, and we get flint from that, which is actually a lot less flint than I would have liked to get. I think we can, like, at least for flint, we can get that a bit easier. So we're definitely not gonna upgrade our whole sieve today. I would probably love to, at least, like, for some of the flint, to just collect that off cam, since it doesn't really make a lot of sense to show me breaking tons of stacks of cobblestone, breaking tons of stacks of cobblestone. That is probably gonna get quite boring quite fast. Alright, I think we need even more flint to actually upgrade one of those meshes, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, we need 6 of them. We could also just use the gravel directly to make flint, as I'm just realizing, so kind of stupid the way we're currently doing it. So it definitely seems like most resources which we would want to get from the sieve, we can only get like the flint mesh. So we can actually, I think we can just search for it and like right click, and then we can see what we get from it, okay? So some things we can do is like sieving dirt to get some different seeds and everything. We can do dust to get gunpowder and all of that kind of stuff. And there are like some other things we can sieve, but it's not really good things. And if we have the flint one, then we can get all of the ore pieces, which is basically what we want. So yeah, I mean, there's no redstone to be obtained through that, but there's iron to be obtained. And if we then upgrade to iron tier, we can get redstone, and if we then upgrade to diamond tier, then we get like the full amount of resources from it. So let me just drink some of the pea juice, and I think we're just gonna try to upgrade those, or at least let's just try to at least upgrade one so that we get the quest, and the rest I'm probably just gonna do off cam. I feel like that's probably gonna be the more entertaining way to do it, because it's not really nice to just look at me breaking tons of things. Like, you can write in the comment section if you want me to let those parts stay in the videos. I personally think it would be kind of boring, but in the end you're the people watching, so it's your thing to decide if I should keep it in the video or if I should just cut it out when I do such things. Alright, we get the Flint mesh. It's like only one, so it's a lot slower to save, since both don't connect with the Flint one. And then we can collect the random act of kindness. And we can go with another quest. I would love to go with the water to clay quest, I think, which requires us to, wooden crucible doesn't need a heat source to convert leaves saplings into water. Right-click dust into water-filled barrels to obtain clay. If you don't have a bucket, you need bottles to move water into the barrels. Do not try to put dust into the wooden crucible; it won't work. And I think, is there like a different type of bucket we could do? Yeah, there is. Okay, we can make like a clay bucket. So that's probably something we should aim for. So we need a bit more wood again. So I'm just gonna place down a few saplings. And we're just gonna do that. And break the wood again. Getting a few more saplings and all that kind of stuff. We can probably also use we could use the juicer with the apples, I think, if we wanted to. And what we can do now is we can go there, and that was stupid, and we can go there and make the wooden crucible. So we're just gonna make a few slabs again, as we already did in the past. Just gonna do a few wooden crucibles. And it does not need a heat source, so we can just put it down, and what we can do now is we can put saplings in there, and what it does, it's basically just slowly converting them into water. And it's also telling us that we need glass bottles for what we want to do. So we're probably going to need a bit more cobblestone. And you may ask yourself, hey, how do you get glass bottles? And it's actually quite easy, because we know how we make gravel. And we can basically just convert the gravel in the exact same way by using the hammer into sand. So that's the thing we could do. So we're just going to take the cobblestone, and then we're going to place it down. There we go. And then we're just going to... that I didn't want to drop. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to place down the gravel. And then we're going to do the same thing and get sand. There we go. Alright, and we need a bit more. No, we actually don't. What am I saying? Yeah, we need a wooden barrel. For that, we don't need the wood blocks. So let's check the recipe for that one, and let's check if we can do one. There we go. And what the quest basically requires us to do is to just put saplings in there and to make a bit of sand to make glass bottles in a bit. And while we're waiting, these saplings are basically producing water for us. And in a second, we will have enough glass to make glass bottles. Also, let me check if we can like convert the charcoal. Yeah, we can make tiny charcoal from that. We can just use that one here. So it's a bit better than just using the wood for that. And the tiny charcoal has the advantage that if we only smelt one single item, it's not taking up one like a whole piece of coal, which would technically be capable of smelting, I think, 8 items. So yeah, okay, we get the glass, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna make some glass bottles. And what it basically requires us to do now is just put the water into the glass bottles and put it into the barrel through that. And then requires us to get dust, which we can get this in the same way that we already got gravel and sand. So we're gonna mine it down with the hammer, and we're gonna put the dust in here. And I think it should already be... No, okay, we need a second one. I was about to say this should be the quest completed, but it's not. So we're just gonna do that. Gonna put the dust here, and we should get the quest to be completed. And we should also be able to craft the clay into clay pieces, which we can also put in the furnace. And the thing I'm currently seeing that I actually didn't know was in here is the bonsai pot, which is quite cool. So the bonsai pot basically allows us to put dirt in there and put saplings in there. And then it's basically just a tree, an automated tree farm, more or less, so, which is kind of cool. Like, it's an automated tree from one single block. There we get lava generation, which would be one of the next quests we could do. And there we get some other tools, like with this one, other quests. With this one, for example, we can get more tools. And this one is a fast furnace we could do. Which I think we should actually aim for, because then it's going to be a lot easier to actually make the stone to make our island out of stone if we want to. And with that being said, I would actually say we're going to have this episode for now, since it's already getting quite long, at least in the raw recording. And yeah, I think we definitely got some goals for the next episode, and I hope you guys are going to be back in the next episode, and see you again soon. Bye bye.